Hi, I'm Laura Vernon. I am a psychology professor at the Wilkes Honors College at FAU. I am also the founder of FAU Thrive Wellness and Support Network. And I am here with one of my beloved students, Abby.
Hi, everyone. I'm Abigail Chavez. I am a graduating senior at the Harriet L. Wilkes Honors College. I am a double concentration in cellular neuroscience and psychology, and I currently work or did research at Max Planck in the Dr. McLean-Bolton lab. And on campus, I serve as a biolab PA and as a student leader for FAU Thrive.
So, Abby, could you tell us a little bit about what has changed in your life as a result of the current coronavirus, maybe the top three things?
Well, three things that come to mind are, I guess, the definition of normal, what it means to have a community, and just trying to figure things out by trial and error. So before, my normal was, going to class and working all my 3 jobs and just running and going and seeing people everywhere and saying hi and greeting people on the go. Whereas and they're forming a community that way, in our bustling little honors college culture. But then what happened was I left the States for a week and I didn't have cell phone service. I was on a medical mission trip, and then I come back and the campus is totally deserted. There's nobody there. And I had to figure out what that meant for me, because it was very easy for me to come back to an empty campus and feel isolated. And soon I realized, okay, I might not be physically with all these people, but that doesn't mean I have to be socially isolating myself. They told me to social distance, and that's physical, and that's not the same thing. And I feel like a lot of people are having a hard time making that connection, and thus putting themselves in an even darker hole than they need to be. You can be social. You have all of these, right now, especially, it's a better time, I guess, to be socially distancing, because you have FaceTime, you have Zoom, you have House Party, you have Instagram, you have Snapchat, and we already did that anyways. So it's helping, especially the bridge, I think, for the younger generation. And then for what the new definition of normal is, now I don't wake up every single day to go to class or work, and that structure has been gone. So trying to find a new structure was really hard for me. And like I said, it's all trial by error, right? So trying to figure out what works for me doesn't necessarily work for somebody else, and somebody else is succeeding doing something, it might not necessarily work for me. So I know a couple of my friends have set up workstations at their homes that's only for work. If I were to do that, I would fall asleep. I need to move. I'm on the go. So I have 4 different workplaces where it kind of set up and breaks down. The first week I was back, I kind of set up my workstation by the couch in the living room, and I just ended up becoming one with the couch. In the sense that I would just the first 2 hours it would be good, and then I ended up falling asleep and taking naps every single day, multiple times a day on the couch, which isn't good. It's not good. And I was like, why isn't this working for me? This is a great workstation, but it's just, I needed to move. And I learned that about myself, and the only way to do that is by trying things and experimenting what would work best for you, and also making sure to try to keep a structure. Humans are creatures of habit. So we're going to bed and waking up every single day at the same time. And now we have the freedom to choose when we want to do that, right? So just keeping that to just help yourself get out of bed every single day and not forget what day it is, and kind of keep a routine, but in a different sense. And yeah, that's what's been helping me get through all this and feel not as bad as other people are feeling. I'm feeling good. I'm happy. I'm with my family, and I think I finally have figured it out. I just hope it's good enough for an entire month. Ask me again April 30th how I'm doing.
Well, congratulations. I think you've done a really great job trying new things, using your tools, creating a schedule for yourself, creating connections for yourself. And it sounds like it's working really well. And I'm so delighted to hear that. And I'm really happy that you were willing to share that with us. And I hope other people benefit from hearing about your trial and error, and maybe they'll try some of the same things. So thank you.
Of course. And one more thing I'd recommend is, if you have free time and you find yourself not having enough to do, just start a project. Like oftentimes we complain about not having enough time to do things. Like I've always wanted to learn Hebrew and I've never had the time to do so. Guess what I'm doing now? I'm learning Hebrew. And like another friend, a really good friend of mine, she's actually starting a garden. Like she's always wanted a garden, never gardened in her life, and now she has all these seeds and she's making a garden. So, you know, do something that'll entertain you and that isn't necessarily for class or for something, but just entirely for yourself now that you can finally afford to do that.
Right. I love it. Yeah. Sort of finding what motivates you, finding what's exciting, finding your joy and going after it. That's great advice. So Abby, any other tips for students going through this quarantine right now? What else has been working for you?
One thing that really comes to mind is just practicing gratitude. Oftentimes right now, it's easy to be like, oh, I can't do this anymore. Like, oh, my birthday plans got canceled or the wedding I was going to go to got canceled. And it's all like, I could have, if this thing wasn't around. But just like taking the time of day to be like, wow, I get to spend more time with my family now. Or like, oh, I get to catch up on sleep. I get to do whatever it may be now that you maybe weren't able to do before, even if it's just spring cleaning, instead of complaining all the time about it. I think that helps a lot. And for me, I am the oldest in my house right now of the children. So I hear my little sister trying to rehearse her like musical that got postponed. And I hear my little brother around 3 p.m. on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, like screaming because he's doing a virtual karate class. So I don't have my own space anymore. Before I had different offices that I could go to, different classrooms, designated spaces that were quiet, and I don't have that anymore. Everything's much more fluid. But I think something that's really helped me is, you know, I get to be with them one last time before moving away after college for, you know, my big girl job. So it's nice because I get to see them for the first time in a while, because ever since I left for college, I haven't really been home. So I get to at least share this little time with them and also just learn how to communicate with them and get to have them be better friends of mine, and not just for my little siblings, but also my parents. Oftentimes we view our parents as like, you know, they're like, you know, over there, but they're human too. And talking to them and growing in friendship with them after college or pseudo after college has really been awesome, because I feel like they respect me way more now than when I left the house for the first time. So it's been wonderful.
I love it. I think, yeah, gratitude is a really good tool for just completely reframing the way you're viewing things. That transition from, I have to, I get to. Like when you're looking.
And then you get excited about everything. And it's awesome because then you just have joy. And then it's contagious. Just like complaining is contagious, so is gratitude. So I feel like as soon as somebody changes, it's so much. Because, you know, if somebody starts complaining or whining, you are going to start complaining and whining too. So it's just positive feedback loop instead of a negative one.
I love it. Yep. In psychology, we call them virtuous cycles, and you're exactly right. It's a positive feedback loop, and I'm glad that you're
awesome.
I'm glad you're finding the gratitude, and that's a great tip for everybody. Thanks for sharing it.